Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video will probably be a little bit shorter than my usual videos, and I think the last video was quite short as well. But today a bit of news has came out concerning transfers, and you've probably all seen it by now, reported on about a couple of hours ago. All the announcements have been made, and ERIK SVIATCHENKO has officially become the first player this summer to leave Celtic for an undisclosed fee. He's heading back to the team that we originally signed him from, over in Denmark, the Danish champions, Midtjylland. I'm not going to say the name throughout the video because it's just that it's a hard one to pronounce. But he's moved back for an undisclosed fee as of today, signing a contract there until 2022. After we loaned him out to the club in January, where he had a very successful time there, very successful 6 months. He ended up picking up the league title, I'm sure, or the cup, one of the two, and apparently had some very impressive showings in the meantime for the club. And now he's gone, now he's left Celtic. Now I want to make this video because long-term followers of the channel, and maybe even my Twitter as well, which you can follow, that Ryan Stephen F. The link is always in the corner anyway. People will know I was a big fan of him, really big fan of him. One of my favourite players at the club, in fact. He was always one of the players who I liked seeing in the team sheet. I thought he was a fantastic player. There was moments, yes, and there was games where he could have been better, and it could have looked definitely better. But overall, I really liked him. Thought he was a fantastic centre-back, and the purpose of this video is to give my opinion on the sale of him, because I just can't wrap my head around it. I couldn't wrap my head around it when he was thrown out the team, pretty much. I couldn't wrap my head around it when we loaned him out, and now he's gone completely, which I did see coming. I didn't think he was going to get back into the team. Brendan Rodgers clearly never really had any plans for him, and that's not to say that Brendan Rodgers didn't like him. I mean, I imagine Brendan Rodgers likes all of his players at the end of the day. I don't think it was that. I don't think it came down to any personal issues or anything. I think just ultimately he wasn't the type of centre-back, or he just wasn't the player that Brendan Rodgers would have liked, or on the pitch terms, and what he was wanting. He clearly favours Boyata, Ayer, Simunovic. All of those got ahead of him, but we signed him in the January transfer window when Ronnie Dyler was in charge, and he looked fantastic. A great player. I thought he was the best player in the team for the 6 months from when he joined to the end of that season. I thought he was the best player in the team, and I remember sitting down and I was thinking, and this was a guy who previously I had knowledge about because of Football Manager, and I was buzzing when we signed him because I signed him for Celtic in a Football Manager a couple of years prior, so I was buzzing in that fact. But I remember sitting there watching the performances and thinking to myself, this guy is going to be the captain of the club one day. This guy, maybe not as far as that, but he's going to be the man at the back, first name in the team sheet, the Rock. He's going to be the number one centre-back at the club. I always thought of that of him. And then he kind of was in that team for the first half of the Invincible season, and then kind of Simunovic overlapped him, Boyata overlapped him with their performances, and he just kind of faded away. Then he obviously had to deal with injury problems, which is probably one of the major factors in why he just never got back into the team, and why Brendan Rodgers never really took to him. I think he came with a lot of baggage when it came to injuries. He's not the fittest of guys when it comes to, taking the knocks and such. He was quite frequently, coming out with little injuries here and there, which he's managed to avoid with the looks of things up in Denmark. But it just wasn't happening for him here. He was taking those injuries. But overall, I still thought he was fantastic. And to this day, I still think he would be the best centre-back at the club if he was just given the chance week in, week out. And it's one thing, and I love Brendan Rodgers. I'll never say a bad word about him. Never, because I just can't. Because look what he's done for the club. But the one thing that would annoy me, and the one thing that is always going to annoy me, is the fact we've let Sviatchenko slip when the weakest part of our team is the defence. There's no question about that. The weakest part is the defence, and the centre halves aren't exactly fantastic. We've got Simunovic, who cannot find form. Every time he plays, he's kind of got that risk and that error around him. Boyata, who can have a very good game, but then we know what he can do as well on the negative side of things. Ayer, who's still incredibly young and has still got a lot of ways to go to develop to become a full-on centre-back, still developing from that centre-mid. I still think he's fantastic, mind you. We've got Comper, who's injured constantly, all the time, who I've been dying to see play, but he's just never getting a game because he's always fucking injured. Jack Hendry, who is right now probably not Celtic quality yet to be a start on the team. Out of all those centre-backs, I reckon if Sviatchenko just gather that little bit of form, get it behind him, get it in his head, that confidence that he needed behind his game, I think ERIK SVIATCHENKO would have been the best centre-back at the club, and I'm going to stick by that. And a lot of people will disagree with me. A lot of people are going to say he was not good enough. We've seen that. We've seen it clearly in certain games that he was not good enough, and there's a reason he's leaving the club. There will be people on that side of things, and I can understand you, because there was some outings where ERIK SVIATCHENKO did not look as sharp as what I may want to make him out to be. Also, this has probably just been thrown in at a very random point. I just kind of remember this and wanted to touch on it. When you see, a lot of people are saying, SVIATCHENKO's had very dodgy performances, very dodgy moments, blunderous moments in games. That's the reason he's been thrown out the team. You've got to think, look at Simunovic, look at Ayer, look at Boyata. They have made bigger blunders, far bigger blunders, especially Boyata and Simunovic. Between them, they've had some horror moments, and yet the faith is still installed in them. So I don't know why it was so dodgy with SVIATCHENKO. But, we had the same faith to keep giving them chances and try and improve themselves. I feel like that should have been given to ERIK SVIATCHENKO as well. Just a thought I wanted to throw in. But ultimately, I just think he was a fantastic defender, and I'm gutted to see him go. Really gutted to see him go. I feel like we've let a big player with still a future ahead of him. He's only 25, 26 years old. Still a lot of years ahead of him, who could have been that backbone in the defence. I feel like we've let him slip, because there was a lot of positive performances we got out of him. A lot of them. He scored that rocket of it wasn't really a rocket, kind of rolled in, didn't it? He scored against Ross County, he scored against Rangers at Hampden. He had a lot of positive outings, and as long as he has those negatives there, but he had so many positive outings, it just made me really take to him, and I really liked him, and I'm gutted to see him go. I feel like it's a massive mistake, because now we've got to go into the market, we've got to dip in and sign someone who, we don't know if they're going to have the quality there for Celtic, because, our centre-back signings haven't been great. They haven't been. Comper being the main one, he's came in and he's just been injured constantly. Hendry, still very raw, still very young, not quite at the quality we need them. So the centre-back signings haven't been fantastic, but we have someone here who has proved in the last 6 months in his loan deal how big a player he can be. And that might be in a league that, doesn't get the same recognition as anywhere else up in Denmark, but I don't think we should knock that back. I don't think we should ignore the form he's been on. He's been getting praised highly, and that's the reason they went back and signed him permanently. And yet we still don't know the figures around it. It could be 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. We signed him for 1.5, which is making me hope that we have made some sort of profit on him, because it would be stupid to make no profit. That wouldn't make any sense to me unless there was a buyback fee or something like that. But I'm still waiting to see the figures. So we could have investment now to bring in a centre back who is better, but ultimately you've got to take that risk, because it could come in and be a flop. You never know. But I feel like he's had a solid 6 months behind him. The motivation, his confidence would have been back in his game, and he could have translated that into performances for Celtic. I think that could have very easily been there if we put the faith in him, the manager put the faith in him, because we've accomplished a lot with weak defenders. I think he would have been strong enough to help us go that little bit further. I really do think he was a genuinely quality player, and I'm gutted to see him go. He was one of my favourite players at the club. My opinion on ERIK SVIATCHENKO going, I think it was stupid, rash. I feel like he deserved more of a chance under Brendan Rodgers. But a lot of people will disagree with that, and I know that for a fact, because people have commented before saying that he's not as good as what you think, blah blah. I just think he was. I think he was a real gem of a player, and I'm gutted to see him go. I think we've made a blunder. I think we have. But the best of luck to him. The main message is best of luck to him. Forge on with his career. Do as much as he can up in, Midtjylland, whatever the fucking they're called. Best of luck to him there, and hopefully he does progress in his career and get a move somewhere. There was talks of him getting scouted in teams in England, I'm sure, at points as well. So hopefully he does get to progress on with his career and go somewhere that ultimately makes him a well-known player. And he does a lot, because I feel like he has a quality player and he has some great traits to his game that could have been vital to Celtic when you look at the weaknesses that we do have in our centre-backs. But he's gone now. It's all over, and that's the first out of the transfer window. Who else will leave? Is it going to be a big transfer window? I hope so. I've already spoke about that. I want to do a more in-depth video this week, which will probably be with celtichere.com, kind of talking about the short list for Celtic and the kind of exodus list altogether, kind of longer, more in-depth video where I can kind of talk about what we need to do to progress on a European scale. And what the investment has to be like there as well. Let me know your thoughts as to ERIK SVIATCHENKO leaving the club. Sad day, I think. I'm gutted. I think it's criminal. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the Twitter links and such in the description. I'll see you all next time.